Talking about Excel tables, at the moment, we're used to doing a lot of our analysis using Excel formulas for everything that I want to do. For instance, I have this data from, it's actually publicly available data from DHIS2. I just downloaded it now for the sake of this training. So I'll just take out this one. I'll take out this one. I really needed more, but let me just manage what I have here right now. So usually you have data like this, and then when you want to run analysis on this kind of data, you use your Excel formulas. For instance, I want to know the total IUD inserted. All right. So I'll just do that sum, and of course you go there all the way, and then you highlight everything all the way down, and that gives you that value. Similarly, if you want to look at something like average, all right, you do average, and then you highlight from the first cell, okay, all the way down, and then that gives you the average that you want there. There's some little formatting here. So that is the kind of referencing we are used to, where you reference the rows and columns in this kind of range. Okay, and yeah, there is nothing bad doing stuff like this. One of the challenge this brings is in case, let's give you an example that let's assume that I want to analyze this on a separate sheet. Okay, say I want to do this total implant. All right, here um, total implant. I have to come here and say sum, and then you go back to that sheet. All right, to go and highlight the data all over. Okay, and then you sum that, and it's correct. There's nothing wrong with that. This is still referencing the rows and columns from this sheet and all of that. Okay, which there is nothing wrong with that approach at all. Okay, but now where I want us to pay attention is with the fact that there are better ways of doing that, especially when you have very large data set to work with. Okay, the data set is large, or the kind of analysis you are trying to do is a bit complex. You really need to focus more on the analysis than trying to know where what is. So that's one of the areas where Excel tables come in. Excel tables are like objects within the Excel spreadsheet, and they sit well on the spreadsheet, but they have their own menu, just like you have for pivot table or your charts that will have their own separate uh, tabs at the top here. The same thing with Excel table. So let's just look at what it looks like to create an Excel table. So I have this piece of data of states in Nigeria. This is actually real data from last year from DHIS2. This is IUDs inserted, implants inserted, and I need to do some analysis on this piece of data. So what do I do? Let me just call this state first, and then can just highlight the data. Really, you don't really need to highlight if there are no gaps in between. All right, it's not necessary as to highlight the data before you do that, but if you highlight it, that's also perfect. There are several ways to turn this into an Excel table. One way is to come to this format as table here under the home tab, format as table, and you pick any of these. The colors are just colors. They don't add any extra value to your data. They don't make any changes to your data. All right. It's just something that whatever is most visually appealing to you. Personally, I like these grays and all of that. So when you try to do that, it asks you, oh, my table has headers. Yes, these are the headers, the state, how you inserted and how you implant inserted. Those are the headers, and then it formats as table. That's one way. Another way is after you highlight, you can press Control T. All right. Uh, TRL plus T on your keyboard, and that also doesn't have to be uppercase on your keyboard, and that will also turn this into an Excel table. All right, Control T to still bring up the same dialog box, and then it turns it into an Excel table. So this is no longer the kind of range that I had before. This is now an Excel table. It's different. Everything this side now is different from what you have here. And the Excel table is limited by where the data is. So this is not part of the Excel table. Once I click outside, all right, it's like that. But once I click inside, you will notice this. I have this menu up here. Please forget about the second one. These ones are the ones I installed for my own use, RDB tools. I use them for all that stuff. But fundamentally, you should have this table design on your own computer, right? Showing you some of the options that you have for an Excel table. The most important one for you whenever you create an Excel table, which I would really want to encourage you to pay attention to, is to always name your table appropriately. Okay, always give your table a name. Let me bring the magnifier so that you can see what I'm trying to point at here. All right, so there we go. So this is always give your table a name. You will see on the menu that you have for your Excel table, you have, sorry, I need to maximize this, maximize, okay? So I think the magnifier is too much. Where is this magnifier? Where are you? Okay, let's bring it here. So always just give your table a very good name, which you can always refer to this range of data. There's also a data range, but it's one of the first things you must. The name of the table cannot start with a number. The name of a table cannot have space, but you can use other characters, underscore, and all of that. But I would always recommend that you just use a single word to describe your table. All right. For instance, it could be something like, say, service numbers. All right. Always very, very important for you to do that. It's similar to when you have named range. Sorry, I think the internet is going off and on a little bit. So I didn't see anything when the internet went off a bit. So now that I've named my table, all right, there are other things that these options that you have here, such as resizing the table. All right, you can actually resize the table and increase the width. Maybe you want it to cover more data to the right and more data to the bottom. You can actually resize it here by changing this to, say, 100, and then you will see the rows. Let me change this to D, and then 100. So you see it have additional column to the right, and at the bottom, everything goes all the way to row 100. Okay, so that's how you can remove duplicates directly from your table. You can convert it back to a range. For instance, you have an Excel table, but you no longer want it as an Excel table. You want to convert it to a regular range. You can just come here and say convert to range. And once you do that, all right, it will change it to a normal range, and then it's no longer an Excel table. Let me see, why is it? Let me see that again. Convert to range. Yeah, do you want to convert the table to a normal range? Yes, I want to do that. All right. So the formatting will remain, colors and everything, but it's no longer an Excel table. When you click inside, it's no different from what you had initially. So, and one of the things you also should remember is if this was an Excel table and you have used structured referencing, when you convert it back to a normal range, your referencing will just change back to the normal rows and columns referencing. All right, so it won't affect any formula that you had on it in it, but I strongly recommend that you just keep your table as is. I don't want the banded rows. Okay, so that is that. And then I think I should take out all the formatting first. Where are you? Yeah, clear format. Okay, so let me just give it, give it a banded row with this color, no bands, all right, something like that. Okay, great. So, and as I was saying, you can convert it to range. You can actually insert a slicer to this data. For now, I have no reason to put a slicer on this data, okay, because there's nothing to slice. Every row is unique, except maybe when I add, what's it called? Regions to them, which we will do shortly. And then you can export this to SharePoint list. If this data is connected to an external source, you can come in and refresh and all of that. Then you have the property here. But if it's an external table, then some of these functions will be active. All right. If you want to show the header row, you can click on that, or you don't want the header row again. You want it to highlight the first column. That's what these ones are for. Okay. You want it to add or remove the filter buttons. I always recommend that you keep your filter buttons though. All right. Banded columns, banded rows. These ones are just visual formatting. They don't really add any extra value. So those are some of the basic characteristics that you have on your Excel table. Now, when I want to reference this Excel table anywhere in this worksheet, okay, let me return the name. Let me call it again, service number. All right. So whenever you want to reference this column, let's say I want to add up all the IUDs. All right, total IUD. You will notice that this is still correct. Why? Because that it is still within that range. But if I'm going to reference it as a structured reference, I don't even need to know what the range is. I'll just call service number. That's the name of my table. You can see service number. It highlights the whole table. And then with a square bracket, I can come and select, or you just type IUD or part of it, and then it gives you that column, and then you close the square bracket, and you can see this column is highlighted now. All right. And then, oh, sorry, I forgot to put sum in front. Sum of that, and then that's what you have. You can see it's the same thing as what you have here. And like I mentioned, the beautiful thing is you can do this anywhere in the worksheet. Like I'm on a new worksheet now, total implant. All right, so you have, that's the name of my table, service number, square bracket. All right, implants inserted, close the square bracket. Keep forgetting this sum. All right, and that's it. So you can do this anywhere in the worksheet. If the worksheet has like many if the workbook has many worksheets and a bit complex, you're trying to do some analysis, as long as your data is structured, you can always do that kind of analysis. A couple of other things that you may want to do is, let's say I want to see uh, how many of them are above 1,000. All right, how many are above 5,000? Let me even see what the average is. Or let me just look at the average implant. This should be the last example here. Average service number implant. That's average by state now. All right, so I have like yeah, 48,660. So I need to know above average, below average. Just as an example, how many states have above average? How many states have below average? Now, I know if you want to write this formula, you would say, oh, you want to do a count if, or maybe some products and so on. But with Office 365, there are faster and quicker way of doing that. You don't even need to look at the data itself. So you can even use the sum function. Please follow me as I write this formula. All right. So I want to know how many of them are below, above this average. That's above and equal to. So I can use the sum function of, let me put another bracket here, service number of implants. All right, greater than or equal to this number. That's the average. Okay. And then I'll close that. Now, this is going to give me a lot of a particular kind of result, and I'm pressing F9 now. It will return false, true, false, true, false, true, false, false, true, false, false, true, false, and so on. But I need to add up the number. So basically, one of the ways you can do that, you can multiply these results, because if I press enter now, it will give me 0. All right, because the system is seeing those as booleans or logical data type. It's not seeing them as numbers. So basically what you can do is you can maybe at the beginning or at the end, wherever you choose, you can multiply by 1. That's what we call multiplicative, what's that word that we use in matrix now? Identity or additive identity, which will be 0. I can add 0, just like saying 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 0 is 0. All right, so when I do this, if you look at this now, I'm pressing F9. So you can see this is what I'm adding now, 0, 1, 0, 1, and so on and so forth. Okay, In newer version of Excel, I don't know, there was an update that was done recently. Once you highlight a formula like this, it will show you at a glance what the result will be like. But I think they rolled back my version, and I think I will ask for an upgrade. So that is that. So that is the number above average. Okay, I want to see how many are below average. You can use also this sum function. You get it. I can use 0 plus. All right, it will still give me the same result, or you can use 1 times that. Don't forget, when you add 0 to a number, it gives you that number back. When you add 0 to a boolean, it turns it into 1 or 0. True is 1, false is 0. All right, so this, I would say my service number, and then implants inserted less than this average. Okay, close the bracket for that one, and then it closes the next bracket. So 13 of them out of 20, is that 24 states? That should be, there's supposed to be 38. What did I put here? One is greater than or equal to the other is, oh, sorry. That's 37 states actually. Yeah, 37. So you can see 13 are above average, 24 are below average. So those are some of the quick tricks that you can use. That's one of the lovely things about using structured referencing when you want to do this kind of analysis. I don't know if anybody has a question before I go on to the next thing I want to show you. Any question, please, or any reaction? You can type in the chat if anything is not clear. You want me to explain something again, please, you can just put it in the chat. All right, so I'll go
Hi,
on.
Benga. Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
Ernest, go ahead. Good afternoon.
Yes, yes, thank you, and good afternoon to everyone. So for the formulas you inserted, I could see that you started with service numbers, then you went on to type the, I think the page heading or the table
Yeah,
heading. Yes. So
yes.
I wanted to find out that if in case you change the table heading, is it going to affect the formula? You have to come into the formula to make that change also over there.
Um, sorry, I didn't get that clearly. If I change the name of the
So
table header,
you see the yes implants inserted. I think
if I
implants
just change
inserted
it to something like
is
implants,
a heading.
yes.
Yes, maybe you change it from the table to implant. Do you have to change
Okay,
it
let's do
here?
that. Let's see
Like,
what
will it
happens.
change
Oh,
automatically? Yeah.
okay. All right. It will actually change automatically. I just changed it to implants now. All right. And then when you come here, it has changed automatically. It updates automatically. So I hope that answers your question. So that's the lovely thing about
Oh, that's
using
great.
structured references. Yes. So structured references can make life very easy for you when you have your because it helps you to organize your data very well, and the probability of messing up your data is lower. Usually, I would always recommend, for instance, you are creating a data model, maybe financial modeling, some other kind of modeling with data or some other kind of analysis. You can have one sheet with your data, and I would always love to recommend that you have that sheet. The only thing on that page is just your data. Then every other analysis can be on a separate sheet. All right, that makes it easy for you to be able to go back and forth whenever you need to. Okay, so that is that. It did the name was, you can see it has updated everywhere that we have used it. It has updated here, it has updated here. The same thing with IUD inserted. If I change this to say IUD, all right, it also updates, and then you can see that. All right. So let me also now show you something about structured referencing. I want to show you something around what's that word now? Um, so what we've been working with is what I call relative referencing, where if I drag this, look at this now. If I drag, let me fix this. Let me fix this. Yeah, absolutely. If I drag this to the right, see what happens. You can see the formula has changed to region. Okay. And this has changed again to state. It has iterated back to the beginning of the table. All right. If I drag it further, it will just keep iterating through the table. You can see this is now IUD. All right. This is back again to implant. This is back again to region, which is not what we want to see. All right. So let's assume I have something like this. I have the sum. I have average. Okay. And I want to do this for IUD. I want to do this for implant. Okay. So I have this sum and so I can say sum of service numbers IUD, right? And I say average service numbers IUD. Okay. So I'm sure we're used to dragging stuff on in Excel. It's basically the same principle that you have with Excel table. So if I drag this to the right now, all right, you will notice that this has changed to implants for me, and this has changed to implants also, where this is IUD. But let's assume that for one reason or the other, what I want to do is not just this. I'm only interested in say implant, but I'm looking at some other property. For instance, let's say I want to look at, okay, let me just keep the regions here right away. This is Southeast. This will take us to the next thing we want to do. So let me just put this in all the Southeast that I know. Ebonyi is Southeast. Enugu is South. Yeah, Enugu is Southeast. Southeast. Okay. Then we have Northeast. Yeah. So Bauchi is Northeast. Borno is Northeast. Gombe is Northeast. Then have Taraba, Yobe, and this is Northwest. So Sokoto is Northwest. Yeah, this is Northwest. These are all Northwest states. All right, and then yeah, this is also Northwest. Kogi is not Northwest.
Southeast.
Yeah, confusing me with that Southeast you just said. Okay, North Central, North Central. But there are no Central guys. Okay, Benue is not Central. Yes, Abuja is not Central. All right, I'm almost there. This South-South. This version of South-South is the actual South-South. So before you come and fry me. Okay, this is also not, okay, that's not Central. This is also South-South. Okay, and then we have the Southwest guys. All these guys are Southwest, Southwest, and Southeast. I think that'll be all. Right, great. So let's say I want to do that and this same analysis I have here. I want to do it only for implants. Okay, and I want to do it by region. I have the sum, I have the average. Okay, and I want to do the analysis by region across, not downward. Okay, so I can do unique, all right, of service numbers of the region. Okay, it gives me this in this order. All right, I need it sorted, so I can put the sort function on it. So sort whatever the result is, it gives me that. Then I want it across. So I'm going to put transpose function on it, transpose. All right, and then it gives me this way. So now the other thing I want to do is I want to now do this sum if, sum for not central, give me for this and each of these. So I can do some ifs, all right, service number, and this is implant. Okay. Yeah, then service number region. That is the second option. Please, I'm doing this because I'm assuming that you already know how to use the sum ifs function. Please. And then I have not central. Okay. And it gives me for not central. Similarly, I have average. I'll just change that to average ifs. Average ifs. Okay. And then, oh, sorry. Average ifs. And that gives me, what did I do wrong? Oh, sorry. That's it. So those are my numbers. Now, come look at this now. If I drag this formula across, see what happens. This has changed to region. I'm trying to find, this was average of implant, and then look inside the region and give me only for the ones for North Central. But by the time I drag to the right, is what I'm adding up. That's my sum range has changed to region. This has changed to state, and everything just is no longer making sense. When I get here now, it just doesn't make sense anymore. So how do I fix it so that when I drag across for an Excel table, it stays the same, it doesn't change. All right. So what you do is most of the time you have to manually do this. So the square bracket, you will double it. So you put another one in front here, put colon, and then implants again. Yeah, implants, just refer it, and then double the bracket, just double the braces. All right, you see. So it's just saying that I need you to fix that column for me. It's still the same service number, the name of the table, and then the columns we want to fix. Usually we use this also when you are ranging over multiple columns. But in this case now, it's the same column. All right, let me do it again for region so that region will not change. You can see service number region. So put another square bracket in front. All right, and then colon, open another square bracket, and then region, and then double square bracket at the end. And that fixes it for me. So when I drag it across now, everything works just fine. Sorry, let me just expand that, right? Everything works fine. Similarly, when I do this for, just take this up. Similarly, I can change this to average ifs. And I want to encourage you, please don't use this average if anymore, the single average if. Please always use average ifs. It's more intuitive and it really helps you to be able to get a lot more done than using the single average if. They do exactly the same thing. So why just stay with the one that takes only one argument? Okay, so with that now I have fixed it and can see what I have is implant and my region has not changed. So that is how you do absolute referencing in Excel tables. All right, absolute referencing in Excel tables. So that's how you do absolute referencing in Excel tables. All right. So any question on this, guys? Okay, if there is none, there is actually a faster way to do what I just did now. Instead of dragging the formula around, you will notice that when I click on this, I didn't have to drag the formula across. I just wrote the formula in one cell and then it spilled into this range. That's what we call a spilled range. And to refer to a spilled range, equal to, and then you put the hash symbol. That's how you refer to a spilled range. Sometimes when you even just highlight it by itself, the system changes it and helps you know that that's a spilled range. And the spilled range, you can actually you can still fix a spilled range, you can fix the column, fix the row, and so on, just like you do to a regular range. But a spilled range, just a single, that the first cell on the top left, the first cell on the top left of the range, and then put the hash key, it highlights everything. It could just be a single row, a single column, a single row of data like we currently have now. It could be a single column going all the way down, and it could be a range of data, something like this. All right, that could go this way and that way. It could be a range of data. So those are that's how you do a spilled range. And I could have, when I wanted to do this analysis, instead of putting C4 here, I'm bringing C5, D5, and all of that. I could have just put a hash on this, and then to give me this spill error. The reason I'm seeing the spill error is because I have data here that I need to clear out. It's saying I'm trying to spill into that range, you can see, but I have the obstruction. So if I clear this out, the formula updates automatically. That's one of the lovely things. I'm not really teaching spilled range formulas and all of that today, how to write array formulas and spilled ranges. That's not doing today. You can look that up, or we can share down that time to look at that. But that's how you work with spilled ranges. I could have done the same thing here too. Okay, and then works that way. All right. So we've looked at referencing a column. All right. We've looked at absolute referencing in Excel tables. Similarly, you can reference other parts of the Excel table. For instance, you can reference all the headers, all right, service numbers, all right. And when you open the square, you can see it gives you the state column, the IUD column, the implants column, this column, or you can actually reference the entire table. If I do this, it gives me the entire table. That's all. That is hash all right? The other options that you have there is, I want only the data part. I don't want the headers. When I do that, you can see it gives me just the data without the headers. Similarly, I can also reference just the headers without the data, all right? And it gives me just the headers without the data, okay? And finally, you can reference the totals. If there are totals in the data, there are no totals in the data, that's why. How do I do that? In the table itself, just come to table design and then total row. Once I do total row, you can do the sum of that, and then you can do the average of this one, whatever that means. Okay, and you can see the total row is showing now. Why? Because I've added a total row. Okay, and of course, I wouldn't recommend that you always put a total row on an Excel table, except the table is what you are presenting. But if you are using it for other analysis, I really don't recommend this. Yeah, for a lot of reasons. So you can take it out, and then so those are some of the ways you reference an Excel table. So I encourage us to have one look at them. So let me go to part B of our training. That's the bubble chart. Bubble chart and yeah, bubble chart and maps. So I did a very beautiful work recently. And I think it's something that should be great for others to also look at. So let me show you what that visualization looks like. Sorry. So which okay. Sorry, I'm trying to bring up the okay. So we have this visualization. This is what the second thing I would like to show us today. So we have these. These are just like results from some analysis. So that shows you on a map of Nigeria. You know, this is a map of Nigeria, and then you have these bubbles on them. The size of the bubble relative to the others tells you how big or how small it is. Obviously, Sokoto has the largest bubble here, after which you have, I think, Oyo State and so on and so forth. And of course, it's kind of an interactive chart. It also shows you in percentages, all right, 83%, 61, 7%, and so on and so forth. So really what I want to show you now is how do you create this kind of bubble chart. In your own case, you can choose to make it interactive. You can choose not to make it interactive. It depends on you, but I'll just show you the basic principles of creating this kind of chart. And then let's see how far we can take that. So the first thing you will need is the map itself. So I'm going to steal the map from this this website, Paint Maps, paintmaps.com. I usually go there to go and look for maps that I need. Create a map of the world. I need maps of country maps. Yeah. So you don't need to sign in or anything. Just go to paintmaps.com and then look for whatever you need. So I need the map of Nigeria. Where art thou? Nigeria map. Okay. And it has its own data by default. Okay, it has, I don't know what that data is really. It just has the data by default. So what I'm trying to do now, I need this map to be blank. All right, because if I have all of this information there, it can become really confusing. Or I can even just have the state names there. All right, but that is not even my plan as it were. But let me just show you what really my plan is. So what I can do is maybe let me use my own data. So all the states in the same region, I'll give them the same number, because what I want to do, the map I'm trying to create, to be at regional level, not at state level. Okay, so I'll just give them this arbitrary number. I think the quickest way will be to copy their sample data, okay, and then use it to prep, because some of the states are specifically formatted like Akwa Ibom. You can see the underscore that they have there. If I use this data on that map, it will not work. So that has to be this way. Okay, so I think they are kind of sorted the same way. Okay, so I can give all the North Central 1111, all the Northeast 2222. These guys will take 3. Okay, give you guys 4, give you 5. It's just so I can create that color at the end. Yeah, if I'm doing it by state, I may not even need to do this. This dot this. Okay, and then give them this. So the reason I'm creating this data is so that similar states in the same region can be shaded the same way. That's why I'm doing this. So you'll notice if I come here now, delete that and then update data, see what happens. Okay, legend, this should be 1, should be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Voila. So you will see, why is Borno missing something? Borno cannot be 5 now. Borno should be, what's this, 2? Update. Great. Kogi is supposed to be 1. Okay. So another thing that's looking weird. Okay, Ekiti is supposed to be 4. Ekiti should be 4. Really? No, sorry, 6.
Benue too.
Okay, update that. Benue, yeah, Benue should be 1 also. How did I miss all of this? Update. Then Bayelsa is supposed to be 5. Okay, do we have it now? Yeah, I think it looks really nice now. Great. So you can see the shadings are similar. So this is southwest, this is northwest, northeast, north central, southeast, and then you have the south states all over the space. All right, great. So I don't need a legend. I'm going to hide the legend. I don't need the legend to show there because that's not my priority. Do I want to show labels? I can choose to show labels. I can choose not to show labels. Let me not show labels for now. Background, I don't need a background there. So you can see how interactive it is to really just work with this map. And then I can download it as PNG, as a PNG map. And it's just like that. All right, so let me save as Nigeria map chart region. Okay, save. And then I think that should be my downloads. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a bubble map for by region. I'm going to do sort unique uh, service number region. All right, that's it. And I'll call this my X and my Y. Just imagine like you're trying to create coordinates. All right, you're trying to create coordinates for a particular location on a map. That's what I'm trying to do. So for now, I'll give them some arbitrary coordinates to work with. So I'm going to give this one 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40. Yeah, these are just arbitrary. I'll change them when I'm done plotting my map. So let's call this region and then highlight. Oh, sorry, nothing here. Just call this 10, 10. I will change this now. All of these numbers will change. So, oh, sorry. This is what I need to highlight. Don't highlight this side, just this part. Okay. And then I have a scatter plot. All right. A scatter chart. Don't worry, we'll be there soon. Scatter chart. Okay. And a couple of things. Let's make a formatting of the right click format chart area. So I want to format the chart area. I'm going to fill it with a picture. Okay, so I'm going to insert. So go and search for the picture file from my computer, and I'm going straight to the downloads. So this is the Nigeria map chart that I just downloaded. Insert, and there you have it. All right, so my Nigeria map chart is now here. So let's just drag this so that everything fits well. Let's see. It's not looking as okay. Let's have this. Let's have this. All right, great. So we're almost there. All right. So I need to start moving my pins around. So for instance, you will see the number ranges from 35, 0 to 35 and 0 to 45. One of the first things you want to do is to fix this the axis, because once I change any number here, the axis is likely to want to update so that it takes in those numbers, but I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to fix this at, say, let me just call this 36 for now so that it stays that way. All right. And then this 0, all right, so that it's fixed. It's not going to move when I make this, when I start making some changes. Similarly, I can make this up to, say, 40, 48. Okay, and then this will be from 0. All right, and then intermittently, I want the major to be, since that is 48, I can do it in twos. Don't worry, we really don't need those. Similarly, I can do this. I'll leave that in fives for now. All right, so I need these points to move around on the map. All right, so that they are where I want them to be. For instance, let me start with North Central. It's supposed to be a 10-10. North Central, if you look at North Central, this is North Central. So I'm looking for something that will be like 20 on the x-axis and let's say 15 on the y-axis. So I have 20 and I have 15 on the y-axis. So you can see it has moved all the way there. All right. Now for Northwest, I need something, say 30 on the y-axis and 20 on the x-axis. So x is 20, this is 30. All right, that one is fine. Then for this one, let me do 27, or okay, I can do 25, 25 and 36. That should be 36 and 25. All right, so you can see that bubble moving there. Then for Southwest, I need something, let's say 7 by 15. 7 here, 15 there, and then it stays there. And then for South-South, let me use something 14 by 5. South-South, 14 and 5. Okay, and then Southeast, I will need something, say, uh, 17 by 7. Okay, 17 and 7. And then, okay, 17 is too much. Let me do 18 or 19 actually. Yeah, great. So one bubble is outside. Which one is this? Oh, south. That's southeast. South is supposed to be 14 by 5. Oh, this was southeast. 14. Yeah, 14 by 7. No, fair enough. So that is that. Now we have our chart here. Just a quick change. I can just quickly move, change this to a bubble chart. Don't forget it was a scatter diagram, so I can change this to, yeah, before we do that, let's bring the number in, IUD. So let's just do total IUD. Some ifs, service, IUD, service state, no, region, and then do it for all of these guys. And then there you have those numbers. Come on. All right. So we're going to change this to a bubble chart. All right, right away. So bubble chart. Let me use this one. And then naturally gives you this funny looking data. All right. Don't worry. Just right click on the chart and say select data. And then you have edit your Y. So the first thing you have is the series name, which is the Y that you have here. Then your X, and then the series values, you have those. Then the bubble sizes. This is where you have the bubble sizes where you cannot come and click on this. So that's the size of each bubble. All right. And how do we be able to tell that? Let me just do some formatting on the bubble series. Scale this to say 50%. All right. And then you can add labels. All right. So there you have it. Let's take out the grid lines. And I don't want the axis. Yeah. And then you have your chart. View. Let me take out sorry, I want to take out the grid lines. Then you have your chart. If this was, say, average ifs, let's see what it will look like. Average ifs, okay? And then you can see on the average, sorry, what's going on here? Select data. Both sides, yeah, looking correct to me. Sorry, something's not right. Please select data, edit, series name, that's your Y. Okay, you can even use this as a series name. Yeah, x-axis, that's your x-axis. This your y-axis, and that's the bubble size. So why is it looking fun? I need to investigate this. I really don't know why it's looking funny right now. Okay, but basically that's the process of creating that kind of chart whenever you want to create them. I really don't know why it's looking funny right now, but you can see it's showing me IED points 36, 8704. Okay, sorry. Let me edit this. So what I need to show here, all right, is the bubble size, not the Y value. Sorry about that. So it's the bubble size, not the Y value. So I've just changed that. Right click on this, format data labels, and then bubble size, not the Y values. And if you want to show the name of the region with it, you can just say value from cells, and then I'll add this to that, and then show them by new line. All right, and then there you have it. Let's see, I'll make it bigger. Right, there you have it. So that is how you can create this kind of bubble chart, and yeah, it can really look nice. especially when there are huge discrepancies between the numbers. But that's basically how you do that. I can change this to implants. Let me see what implants will look like. And then you can see the numbers have updated. These are the tiny, these are the largest, large, and so on. So that's how you can create this kind of chart. Any question, anybody? Questions?
Hi. Yes, I do have one.
Oh, go ahead.
I would like you to, like, the place you adapted or you downloaded the map from. Is it an open
Okay.
source website that you can just go there to develop the map? Yeah. Or is
Yes,
particular
it's
tool in
open
Nigeria?
source. No, it's open source. Like I said, just go to paintmaps.com and then create map charts, country maps. You can pick any, you see paintmaps.com. Of course, you are from Ghana, so let's look up for Ghana. Yeah, Ghana
Ghana.
map
Yeah.
charts. And there you have it. And basically what you need to do is update the information here, all right, to fit whatever you want. Of course, you can use this for a whole lot of other kind of visualizations, a heat map or some other kind of map. But this, for the sake of the presentation we made today, that's why I worked on this just to fit what I wanted to be able to show. And that's what I did earlier. So it's kind of, I really don't know who created this website. The person has done a very good job for all of us in the world. It could be a world map too, or continent map. All right. If I want a continent map for Africa map charts, you have Africa map charts, and then you can make changes as you may so want. So it's just there. When you're done, you can download it. I didn't even have to log in or anything. It's just there online. All right. So we can create this. So guys, this is where we stop for today. It's already 30 Nigeria time. So I want to encourage you to share your own work. Please create similar projects, Excel tables, create an Excel table. For those of you who work in Nigeria, I want to encourage you to create similar charts for your own region. All right, just create them for your own region, for all the states in your region, and then let's see what it looks like. Don't forget that the most important thing that you really need to work on here are the X and Y. Just imagine them like the longitude and latitude, and then you can manually adjust them so that they fit into the map, and then you can use them for analysis. This is a very, very lovely visualization. I've seen them in people using them in reports all over the world, and then yeah, so thank you so much, everyone, for making it today. Tomorrow, we go ahead and start talking about Power Query et al. Please enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Look, Benga, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Miss Benga, can you just wait behind just for 5 minutes, please?
Thank you,
Okay.
Benga.
All right.